you're going to have a very, I think, competitive race at a moment where the Attorney General's office is vital because of everything happening nationally.
I'm not here to make sure that there's no crime in Rhode Island. I'm here to fight Donald Trump.
That's right. Peter Neronha wants his sort of legacy to be upheld. He wants the work in that office to continue. These guys are going to have a real test on their hands to make the case that they can be like Peter Neronha.
And welcome to this episode of Lively. I'm Jim Hummel. I am joined this week by Boston Globe columnist Dan McGowan and our political contributor, Dr. Pablo Rodriguez. Welcome to you both. With elections a year away, the field for Attorney General has suddenly gotten crowded, with 3 announced Democrats, another looming, and a potential Republican candidate waiting in the wings. Dan, let me begin with you. I think that all the air is going to go into and media coverage is going to go into the governor's race, but this is shaping up interestingly because Peter Neronha is term limited.
Yeah, and we haven't had a really competitive Attorney General's race really going back to 2010, the first year Peter Kilmartin got elected. So it has, there was, I think, one with Dawson Hodgson the next time around, but it wasn't especially competitive. This one is starting to really take shape and look interesting. You've got Keith Hoffman, who comes from the Attorney General's office. He's raised a couple of $100,000. Kim Ahern just jumped into the race. Jason Knight, the state representative, is in. Joe Solomon wants to get in.
And Chaz Kalenda on the Republican side, he's run before.
And so you're going to have a very, I think, competitive race at a moment where the Attorney General's office is I think, vital because of everything happening nationally. And because of, and I've at times been critical of him, but Peter Neronha, I think, really changed the shape of that office over the last 8 years, and particularly the last couple of years, where I think we as Rhode Islanders expect our Attorney General to be outspoken, to be pretty transparent about what's happening. And so these guys are going to have a real test on their hands to make the case that they can be like Peter Neronha, not just your kind of standard run-of-the-mill Attorney General.
This is the talk of the town in every coffee shop and every Dunkin' Donuts. No, it's not.
Who's going to be the AG?
Right? Yeah, it's not. But we have to understand who votes in primary elections, and especially here in Rhode Island. And it's going to be the activists, and of all the candidates Kim Ahern has, been able to deliver a message that Democrats are wanting to hear, which is a fighter. I'm not here to make sure that there's no crime in Rhode Island. I'm here to fight Donald Trump.
That's right.
And that is a message that is resonating.
In the primary. But Jason Knight also was the advocate on the gun legislation. Yep. And I also find it interesting that Peter Neronha has already endorsed Keith Hoffman. That seems, now I understand he's going out.
It's his guy,
yeah, but I understand, but still, I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, one, I think that endorsement really matters because I think people do, I think especially Democratic primary voters actually really like Peter Neronha. It's why he considered running for governor for a while and things like that. And so I think that matters pretty significantly. He wants to put his thumb on the scale. Peter Neronha wants his sort of legacy to be upheld. He wants the work in that office to continue. And he thinks that, Keith Hoffman is kind of the right person to do that just because he's worked with him. He knows that stuff. But I think Pablo is also right about this. While what you're going to see over the next year on talk radio, there's going to be this outrage about how much all these candidates, all they do is talk about Trump. But if you're trying to win a Democratic primary, that is
catnip.
It is out Trump the next one.
Who can do it?
And it'll be nothing else. I think it's all about who raises the most money, who can get that message out, and who looks like the biggest fighter.
Who would have thought that a Democratic socialist was going to become the mayor of the city of New York?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely incredible where this party is moving towards. And it's not socialism. It's just basically people that are willing to take on the establishment and fight for the common man.
I do think one question she's going to have to answer, and this may be insider baseball, why is it taking so long to get these pot licenses out? We've done those stories about how a lot of people have invested a lot of money, and you don't feel badly for them because they're going to make a lot of money. But some have had to drop off because I'm like, we still don't have the pot licenses? Right. And why is it taking a year?
Yeah, it has taken taken a long time. That's to your point. This is what Kim Ahern's probably going to have to answer to. And you know what she's going to do? She's going to pivot and say Trump, 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 and everyone's going to forget.
Held up the licenses, right? And everybody's going to go. They're going to give her a pass.
That's right. You know, making money on pot, you know, was something that was very alluring at the beginning, but the market is flooded.
Yeah.
So prices are going down. Many stores are actually losing money.
Well, we learned that from Massachusetts because you remember the big long lines, and then we had people on this show years ago who said, "Why do I want to pay an extra 40% tax? I can just go to my dealer."
No,
right?
No housing, plenty of pot.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we will keep an eye on that race. Dan and Pablo, thank you. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Lively right here on Ocean State Media. Subscribe to us on YouTube and tell us what you think in the comments section below the video.